I've literally had a messy room my entire life. However, for some odd, peculiar, messed up reason, I genuinely don't mind living in chaos. Now, let me clarify. By no means is my room dirty. I'm talking messy, like anything could be hiding in my room, and I probably wouldn't notice. I'll paint you a picture. Basically, imagine clothes everywhere. That stylish sweater from Sweden, those huge, heavy high heels, that fur-feathered fedora, and, oh yeah, those printed panties. If I own it, it's probably on the floor. Now, things don't just pile up on my floor. The bed is also a rather hot spot. I'll come home from a long day, tiptoe around my floor, and I'll curl up in the corner of my bed that doesn't have a hairbrush, a book, a water bottle, a football, some sunglasses, and some chopsticks. When I was growing up, my parents promised me allowance if I did one thing: clean my room. That $50 a month was definitely enough to get that new JT CD and those awesome blow-up chairs that every girl had. However, I was so stubborn that I never got allowance once. I had to get a part-time job just because I absolutely refused to clean my room. Einstein once said, "If a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, what are we to think of an empty desk?" Studies have actually shown that having a messy room is linked to being more creative. So if I'm a little messed up, it's probably just because I'm thinking outside the box or outside my closet. Sorry, but don't mind the mess.
The Big Smoke, T.O., T-Dot, different names for the city we live in and love. The city others seem to love to hate. Up until September, I was another. Before moving here, I used those nicknames while romanticizing the city I loved. People outside of Toronto both romanticize and vilify the city. Some say Torontoians are rude, egocentric, oblivious to life outside Toronto. They think that the world revolves around Toronto. I think I used to agree. But I've come to another realization. To truly understand Toronto, you need to understand the Six. The city's newest nickname has come to embody it perfectly. Outsiders, like friends in London, cringe whenever I mention the Six. We used to sarcastically call London the Nine because of our 519 area code. But boy, were we wrong. The Six has nothing to do with 416 or 647 area codes, and everything to do with the city's 6 boroughs: East York, Etobicoke, North York, Scarborough, Toronto, York. The Six embodies the pride of the people that comprise these 6 boroughs. The Six represents the 4th largest city in North America. The population of each borough needed to reach the 2.8 million mark, which keeps us ahead of Chicago. The Six represents that Torontoians are diverse, distinct, yet united. The Six represents the small-town kid from Toronto who joins nearly 3 million people every day chasing their dreams. We're not egocentric, we're proud. The world doesn't revolve around the Six, but the Six revolves around us. So when I put on this jersey, I stand tall, hold my head high, and smile. It's a Six thing.
I would like to begin by saying everyone deserves love. It's without a doubt one of the best feelings there is, especially when it's mutual. It's important to be aware that love can come in many different forms and is a lot of times unexpected. Whatever the circumstances, it can be an amazing experience. This now leads me to the love of my life, my pride and joy, my little fluffy brown and silver fur ball. A tiny pooch who I'm certain has more bark than bite, but that doesn't stop her from going full throttle at you. She almost always stares and squirms squeamishly as I eat my lunch and sip my slushies. Her puppy dog eyes looking up at me almost make me want to share my food with her. Keyword, almost. Her woof woofs and achoos echo all over the house and always seem to do so at the most inopportune times. If a sock goes missing or there happens to be a random wet spot on the floor, I almost always know where it came from. Our years of afternoon walks and late night cuddles are just two of the many things that have solidified our bond. Her awareness and overprotectiveness of anyone who comes to the door and near me is a reminder that the love is mutual. It's crazy to think how much she's become a member of my family, and I can't imagine coming home without her there to greet me. Lastly, it's the little things and the little ones that leave a lasting impression and bring happiness in ways that you didn't think they would.
Hello, and welcome to Seneca College's Public Relations, Corporate Communications, Public Speaking class live. I'm Alicia Ciancio, and I'll be your MC for the day. Today, you'll be hit with a mix of speeches spun together by Seneca's very own. You'll hear about aliens, ghosts, bubblegum, the Sixth, a 5-year plan, and be hit with the nostalgia of the 90s. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be inspired. So now that I have hit you with the basics, Chantel is going to begin our speeches with a pop. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a piece of gum? When you're unwrapping that piece of Stride, 5, or Trident, have you ever stopped?
5, 4, 3.
With 6 words, my life changed forever. On October 10th, 2008, my best friend since I was 4 looked me in the eye, held onto my shoulders, and said, "Arnold lied. It's not a tumor." In true Carly Kate dark humor fashion, my soul sister and my rock had just told me, via a kindergarten cop quote, that she had an extremely aggressive brain tumor. Well, the years went on, and so did our adventure. We managed to find the magic in everything. Pretty soon, back up. Okay. Carly went through chemo, radiation, and brain surgery twice. She was a driving force, an old soul, and a warrior princess. Pretty soon, the cancer seemed normalized. She became a superhero that still looked like Angelina Jolie right after surgery. An enigma. Then, on January 17th, 2014, Carly went supernova. My world crumbled. What did I do? I went on the adventures we had planned, and I brought a piece of her with me. Carly left me her necklace, the tree of life. Fitting. She swam with me in the ocean with the mermaids in Bahamas. She commandeered a ship with me from negligent captains in Australia and saw the beauty from many mountaintops. Every step of the way, she was right there with me. Carly knew that the best medicine was laughter. That to live fully, we need to see the beauty and the magic in everything. So, that masterpiece you're going to create, that loved one you're going to hug, that friend you're going to reconnect with, the school you're going to go to, or the country you're going to see. Do these things. Live fully. and know that it is possible to face your death with grace. Thank you.
Ever since I was a teenager, I knew what I wanted to do every minute of my life. I'd plan by the hour, and I'd noticed that I had started to have a problem. Why must I organize everything and know what I'm gonna do each step? One could say it was an insecurity, and another could say that I'm fortunate to be so OCD. But is Hannah today happy? How Hannah has held herself to be so organized can only be understood by looking at the last 5-year plan. And today, you guys get a sneak peek. I didn't really know what I wanted to be or what field I wanted to go in when I was in grade 12. But you know how it is. Second semester, grade 12 comes, and they want you to choose what university or college you want to go to and what field. At that point, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I went the safe route and I chose government related. Do you guys remember what you wanted to be in grade 12? Do you remember what passions you had and expectations of yourself before you went into your college or university or post-secondary life? How many options did you guys have at that time? Reflecting on grade 12, I made myself a 5-year plan. This was back in 2012. I told myself I would fast-track my bachelor's. I would work a couple government internships. I would help my parents pay their mortgage. I would get my G. I would lose some weight. I would dedicate more time to my family. All small goals I successfully actually accomplished. But now I'm in the 5th year of my original plan, and it's time to write a new one. This new plan has new goals. I'm gonna complete a master's or MBA program. I'm gonna obtain a full-time job within the government, specifically in immigration or citizenship. I'm gonna buy my parents new cars. I'm gonna take my mom to Pakistan, but I'm also gonna try and earn 50,000 air miles so I don't really have to pay for them. And now I know what I wanna do. With this 5-year plan, I have everything set up, and everything is gonna help me accomplish whatever I'd like to do. I know what I wanna do now. Looking back at grade 12, I know what I wanna be. 5 years later, I know I wanna be a communications professional in government. And I know I can help you make your 5-year plan too. Thanks.
Please welcome Matt with the Small Town 6th God. You can scroll. Ooh, up. Perfect. That's okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Alethea has a background in instructional design, a postgraduate diploma in marketing management, and is working on her 2nd postgraduate diploma in public relations at Seneca. Her goal is to get a marketing communications job in the not-for-profit sector. Alethea's speech, The Best Way Out is Through, is based on a recent event that changed how she thought about planning and decided how planning, not to plan, can sometimes be the best plan. Kate Knight is a UWO graduate and a fun, fearless female. When Kate's not traveling, she's usually getting into some other adventure. Today, Kate is going to talk to you about mermaids and pirates and the never-ending search for Neverland. Hillary is that post-grad Seneca's College public... Okay. Hillary is that post-grad Seneca College public relations student you probably met at that one thing. She enjoys long walks on the beach, endless Netflixing, and rambling on. So she'll probably enjoy giving a speech to you today. Ever since she was a child, Hillary's always had an idea of what adulthood would look like. Now, she talks about how her 90s perspective of being a grown-up wildly differs from her current life. Here she is with a view of adulthood from the eyes of a 90s baby. You can actually skip Erica. She didn't do hers either. And perfect. My classmates and friends never cease to amaze me. Those speeches were absolutely amazing. I want to thank all of our speakers today for doing such an outstanding job. All of the speeches were representative of the... I know, I feel it.
The Matlow family. It's a disorder that many have, especially throughout childhood. Being a middle child is a rough experience, but when you have two absurd brothers, a lot of extra neglect can sadly occur. It's a disorder that is unfortunately ignored, but as middle children, we need to stick together like a pack of wolves and unite as one. My first realization of middle child syndrome was at the age of 6. At this point in my life, I was careless and innocent. Barney was passé. I aspired to dress like Britney Spears, and Hit Me Baby One More Time was my favorite song. After a flight full of sugary narcotics, I passed out at the back of a shitty minivan that was headed to our hotel, packed with oversized luggage and 3 comatose children. As the shitty van approached the hotel, my parents pulled up front as the valet service waited to help. My dad let my brothers and my mom go up to the room, carelessly assuming that she was responsible enough to wake me and take me up as well. But that was not the case. My own father, the man I trusted most, left me in the car while the valet service drove me across the street with not even noticing. Those fucking idiots. When my dad got up to the room, my mom asked, "Where's Steph?" The fuckers both realized they forgot all about me. He bolted along across the street, stopping traffic along the way. And there I was, chilling in the back seat of the car, shitless, not knowing what the fuck was going on. It's sad to say, but it happens to every middle child. No matter if we are loved or not, we are the forgotten breed. We need to become our own family and make sure situations like this never happened before.
So there's a song by The Fray called The Ungodly Are, and there's a line from that song that keeps playing in my head repeatedly. It goes like, "Tomorrow finds the best way out is through." And I would keep singing that song, not fully understanding what it meant, until the 29th of Jan 2016. Before that day, I think I was just an ordinary girl who romanticized the idea of planning. I had to plan everything. I had to plan my life, my career. And my favorite question was, what next? The what next was what brought me all the way from India to Toronto to discover a new life and to study corporate communications at Seneca. It was this what next that kept me going all the time. Until the 29th of January, I was an ordinary girl who spoke to my class about planning and preparing, crisis management, like I was the expert, like I knew what I was talking about all the time. But it was on the 29th of January 2016 at 12:04 p.m. that my world capsized. I received a phone call saying that my father had passed away. So while I was busy planning to take my next leap of faith, what I hadn't planned was to have my safety net pulled right out from under my feet. So no more what next, because I didn't know what next. When grief takes over, all you can ask yourself is, what now? And that's when I realized that I just need to live in the moment. My what now is living in the moment. Because sometimes the best way out is really through. Thank you.
5, 4, 3.
Sitting at home in Halifax, Nova Scotia is a little Eiffel Tower just like this. It's not here because I didn't have the room when I moved here for my public relations, corporate communications post-grad, and ultimately my career. I'm here to tell you how I'm built for success, like the Eiffel Tower. Now, I'm not the first to use the Eiffel Tower as a comparison, but having spent time in Paris, I can't help but identify with its unwavering structure, swaying in the wind, remaining balanced. I like to think I'm as adaptable too. There are many ways I can relate my professional qualities to the Eiffel Tower, thanks to my English literature degree. I'll share with you 2 key reasons. For one, the tower is made up of many intersecting pieces, interconnecting in a way that they support the structure. You might think that sounds like Laura's skills are supporting her work in PR. Among those are practicing internal and external communications, monitoring social media and media relations, and facilitating event and relationship management. Now, one more thing about the tower. It was built in stages. It took nearly a year for each level. I'm also carefully planning the path I'll take to the career I want in PR. I'm someone who will see a project like the Eiffel Tower to completion, eyeing every detail, organizing every step. I'll leave you with a quote by short-term Parisian Salvador Dali. "Have no fear of perfection, you'll never reach it." It sounds harsh, but for a self-identified perfectionist, I know we simply must strive for our best work. Oh, and one more thing, je parle français. Thank you.
5, 4.
Today's youth is a few things. 1, they're lazy. 2, they're self-centered. And 3, today's youth is disconnected from reality. It is roughly 80 years ago. A middle-aged man scoffs at the sight and sound of his child. The man watches as his son puts a strange wired horn to his mouth and says, "Oi, oi." The mere thought of it disgusts him to the point of mumbling under his breath, "Rubbish." Back in my day, when we wanted to speak with our friends, we'd simply start sitting to write a letter or readily road riding towards their place of residence to speak to them, as it has always been meant to be. A few years have passed. The daughter of the young boy that was scolded for being on the telephone has a son of his own. She just gotten home from work, picked up her phone for an urgent call, and heard. Sorry. She looks over at him, shakes her head, and says, "You'll ruin your eyes staring at that blank screen. Back in my day, instead of reading on-screen messages, we'd pick up the phone, call our friends to hear their actual voices." More years have passed. The young boy, who now needs the whirring and buzzing of fax machines to fall asleep, has children of his own. They no longer need libraries with physical books. All information can be pulled up and digitally onto their screens, onto their goggles. Phones, in their most traditional sense, are obsolete. Youths can now call up a contact to talk to with a mere thought. Lazy runts, he thinks. We've all been lazy before.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a piece of gum? When you're unwrapping that piece of Stride, 5, or Trident, have you ever stopped and really thought about what would it feel? It's like so wordy. Okay. When you're unwrapping that piece of Stride, 5, or Trident, have you ever stopped and really thought about what would feel like to be continually chewed for hours and hours on end? Chantel's here to tell us about what she thinks it would be like to be a piece of gum for a day, since she obviously has no real experience. Here she is with a day in the life of a piece of bubble gum. Yes.
I want you to unlock your hands.
Okay.
Now we're going to take it a step up. We started moving your head, we started relaxing. Now we're going to start using some body language. Now watch the difference in the performance. Stand by. What are we doing? 3.
Ever heard of messy room syndrome? Probably not, because Gabby just totally made that up. However, it's probably a real thing. Gabby is usually pretty presentable, but did you know that her room isn't? Who would have guessed? Gabby's here to tell us why it makes, whoa, okay. The whole thing? Okay. Ever heard of messy room syndrome? Probably not, because Gabby just made that up. However, it's probably a real thing. Gabby is usually pretty presentable, but did you know that her room isn't? Who would have thought? Gabby's here to tell us why it makes her, well, her. Here she is. Classmates and friends never cease to amaze me. Those speeches were absolutely amazing. I want to thank all of our speakers today for doing such an outstanding job. All of the speeches were representative of diversity and creativity each one of us possesses. This program pushes the boundaries and allows us to explore different avenues of self. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you to the class, our professor, David Turnbull, and the wonderful media crew for making all of this possible. This hands-on experience is priceless. Hope you all enjoyed your day. Until next time. The end.
Make sure that's 0. I would like to begin by saying everyone deserves love. It's without a doubt one of the best feelings there is, especially when mutual. It's important to be aware that love can come in many different forms and is a lot of times unexpected. Whatever the circumstances, it can be an amazing experience. This now leads me to the love of my life, my pride and joy, my little fluffy brown and silver fur ball. A tiny pooch who I'm certain has more bark than bite, but that doesn't stop her from going full throttle. She almost always stares and squirms squeamishly as I eat my lunch and sip my slushies. Her puppy dog eyes looking up at me almost make me want to share my food with her. Keyword almost. Her woof woofs and chews echo all over the house and always seem to do so at the most inopportune times. If a sock goes missing or there happens to be a random wet spot on the floor, I almost know where it came from. Our years of afternoon walks and late night cuddles are just two of the many things that have solidified our bond. Her awareness and overprotectiveness of anyone who comes to the door and near me is a reminder that the love is mutual. It's crazy to think how much she's become a member of my family, and I can't imagine coming home without her there to greet me. Lastly, it's the little things and the little ones that leave a lasting impressions and bring happiness in ways that you didn't think they would.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I remember the day I was born like it was just yesterday, freshly pressed and formed into a perfect rectangle. Lightly Oh, okay. Okay.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I remember the day I was born like it was yesterday, freshly pressed and formed into a perfect rectangle, lightly dusted with icing sugar and wrapped in a specially made blue foil wrapper. Then I was placed in a small cardboard package with not 1, not 2, but 15 of my brothers and sisters. I don't know how long I'd been sleeping in my package before I was picked, but they picked me. That they didn't fold down my foil wrapper and let me see the world. No, they took my entire wrapper off. What were they going to do with me? Feelings of panic and despair began to form. What used to be my immaculate figure was folded into 3 pieces. I was lifted towards some contraption that slowly opened to reveal a wet and slimy pink log and a bunch of weird white whimsical wedges. As my body was thrown into this contraption, I was immediately squished, squeezed, and separated by the white wedges. A wet substance filled the chamber and showered me, while the slimy pink log pushed me back and forth, forming my body into different shapes. When I thought the darkness would never end, the chamber opened, and the pink log stretched my body. All of a sudden, I was out of the chamber, and my body had ballooned into a big blue ball. The light covered my entire body, and I continued to get bigger and bigger and thinner until pop! As fast as I was outside of the dark and dingy chamber, I fell to the ground, my body in a million different pieces.
What do you believe in? Do you believe in monsters? Do you believe in aliens? Do you believe in ghosts? I personally believe in all of these things. But upon hearing this, you may ask, how can you believe in these things? They aren't real. But you're wrong. When I read newspapers or turn on my television and see images of people spreading death, destruction, and devastation, I believe monsters are real. When I meet new, fascinating individuals who are foreign to my life and manage to grab my interest, captivate me with their personalities, and invade my heart with their humor, hope, and happiness, I believe aliens are real. And when I look back at old photographs of my father, the man I lost when I was 7 years old, the man who helped create me, but is by all means a stranger to me, and who only seems to exist in images and memories, but somehow manages to haunt me when I sometimes glance in the mirror, I believe ghosts are real. So you may tell me these things don't exist because your standard traditional definitions make you believe they don't, but to me, they do. Just because I say I believe in things that you don't, doesn't mean I'm wrong. When someone tells you they don't believe in your dreams and your goals because they're unrealistic, does that mean that you're wrong for believing in yourself? No. We have the power and freedom to choose what we believe in. Our instincts drive us to want something to believe in, whatever it may be. So don't tell me monsters, aliens, and ghosts don't exist. All of these things exist because I want to believe. Don't tell me I won't achieve great things. I know I will, because I want to believe. Thank you.
Have you heard of the new improved formula? This is a cocktail of life's delicious recipes that results in the effectiveness of a better you. Log on to mulelaangela.wordpress.com to experience the feeling of awesomeness. There's the perception that if we show weakness, then we are perceived as weak. You see, that's the core of the problem right there. Do we as human beings lack the compassion, hope, kindness, and love to extend to others? The race to be in competition with each other only amounts to more pressure and emptiness. Thus, we forget our identity, leaving us empty and torn. All that can be spun around into a good cocktail that makes you keep going back to your favorite bar and experiencing the same drink like it was the first time. Warning! Just like a short circuit can cause a spark, turning into a fire, steps into experiencing the new improved formula process must be carried out with patience and perseverance. Step 1, sense of worthiness, strong sense of belonging, and the fear that we are not worthy of connection. Step 2, sense of courage. Tell the story of who you are. Be passionate and kind to yourself. Step 3, vulnerability, is the core of shame, fear, and worthiness, but is also the place of joy, creativity, and love. Step 4, ostentatious. Screw that, people. Be authentic and real. Fix the problem. And lastly, step 5. The great mix to this great cocktail is to remind yourself that you are enough. Guys, you only live freaking once. Thank you.
Stephanie Matlow, Middle Child Syndrome, the Forgotten Disorder. The struggles of a 20-something-year-old who is stuck in between two unbearable boys. Misa Aramburo is a postgraduate public relations corporate communications with her honors Bachelor of Arts in English and Human Geography from the University of Toronto. She has always been passionate about pursuing a career where she can combine her passion for writing and working with people, and communications was the perfect fit. Today, she'll be pushing you to truly wonder, what do you believe? Here she is with I Want to Believe. Okay, yeah. Bringing it up. Chantel is an eager young lady ready to take on the PR world. One pitch and press release at a time. Here she is with the love of my life. I was trying, man. Yeah. Hannah Butt, aspiring government communications professional. Need organizing or help charting your life? Hannah and her tools can help you. Ever since she was a teenager, she knew what she would do with every minute of her life. She'd plan by the hour and started to notice she had a problem. Why must she organize everything and know what steps she's going to take? One could say it was an insecurity, and another could say it was a fortunate feature to be OCD. But is Hannah today happy? How Hannah has held herself to be so organized can only be understood by looking at her 5-year plan. And today, you guys will get a sneak peek. Oh, there's a lot more. I think 6 more. Yep. You're not getting enough of me yet. Okay. Oh my God, Angela, can you say your last name? Mulela? Okay, good. I don't want to ruin it. Okay. Okay, so Angela Mulela would like to talk to you. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Angela Mulela would like to talk to you about the new improved formula. Wait, let's not jump the gun. Now. Sorry, there's a lot of commas. Okay. Angela Mulela would like to talk to you about the new improved formula. Wait, let's not jump the gun now thinking, ugh, what new product or device is she going to convince or rather wants me to buy? Rather, she's here to let you see life from a different perspective, to unveil the masks that we hide behind closed doors, to sprinkle love, hope, encouragement, and a ray of sunshine to all those that need words of wisdoms every once in a while. Stay tuned as Angela discusses the new improved formula. Okay.
Standing at just 5 feet tall, I may be easier for you to overlook at first glance. But don't be fooled. As the saying goes, good things come in small packages. A Seneca student and Western University graduate, I am well versed in media theory and popular culture, with a strong understanding of the tools and standards necessary for effective communications. Fascinated by media and culture, sorry. Sorry. Okay.
Just that paragraph?
Yeah, perfect. A Seneca student and Western University graduate, I am well versed in media theory and popular culture, with a strong understanding of the tools and standards necessary for effective communications. Fascinated by the dominant role communication plays in our social world, I'm eager to use the media's capacity to drive personal interaction and build social relationships. My extensive involvement in the performing arts has fueled my passion for the creative process, where my artistic sensibilities constantly inspire me to explore diverse methods of communication. A people person, I enjoy collaborating with others to develop innovative ideas, and I value teamwork as an essential asset for success. My strong interpersonal skills and ability to adapt to changing environments demonstrates my strength as a communicator who is comfortable engaging in diverse settings to reach end goals. If you're looking for a passionate individual to join your team, look no further. My education has equipped me with a theoretical and practical knowledge, exposing me to valuable communication techniques that can be applied to industry-level situations. I am excited to learn and contribute to the industry I am excited to contribute what I know and learn from industry professionals to better myself as a communicator and gain firsthand experience working in the field. I have a heart that doesn't quit, and I am motivated to succeed. The high standards I set for myself continue to be demonstrated through the initiatives I have the opportunity to be a part of. Now I'd like to remind you, again, bigger is not essentially better.
Think about growing up in the 90s. You probably have fond memories of toaster strudels your mom would make when she was lazy, of punching your sister with a sock and bopper, and those weird "don't you put it in your mouth" PSA commercials. Think about what being an adult looked like to you. I don't mean what normal adults did that formed your image of adulthood. Think about being an adult and what that looked like when you watched movies. Adulthood looked fantastic. If a corrupt businessman plotted to take control of the city, only one man in a leather suit could stop him. I could meet and fall in love with someone over the internet who could end up being my business rival in real life. Okay, maybe that could actually happen, but you get what I mean. Adulthood looked exciting. It looked fun. Real adulthood is much different. I just want to nap all the time. Instead of falling in love with someone you've accidentally swapped books with, you're more likely to meet someone on a dating app. Where's the salesman discovering that his entire life is actually a TV show? What if I made questionable career choices? Would I meet a wealthy businessman willing to turn my life around? If I left my 8-year-old son home alone, would he really be able to fight off burglars? Every day I find myself waiting for one of these endless things to happen, to confirm that 90s movies prepared me to deal with my adulthood. And every day I'm let down, just a little bit. But maybe I'm not an adult yet, and I'm just still waiting for a plot twist.
Jen's fascinated by media and culture. She's eager to join the social conversation and make her mark in the world of public relations. Here she is with her speech, Bigger Isn't Better. Laura Kelly, equipped with a bachelor's in English, is completing Seneca's PRCC postgrad program with the intention of frolicking in the field of PR. She'll be speaking on why she's right for the job. Oh God, Kelly, here's your last name. Say it one more time. Where are you? Obirakarang? Okay. Kelly Obirakarang is a post-grad Corp Comm student who has luckily or unluckily taken part in at least some of 4 decades. Luckily, because much has changed in that span, and his participation means that he may have some observations to share. Unluckily, because, well, 4 decades. One key area that seems much change in that time is the realm of communications. He joins us to share some of his thoughts. Here he is in today's defense.